Good morning. Today we are going to discuss the topic consumer behavior. Consumption. It's a key concept in economics. Who is a consumer? What is consumption? When a person buys a particular good or service and uses it to satisfy his or her want, there are many wants for human beings. And in order to satisfy that wants, the people are purchasing goods and services and using it. So that action, that is buying goods and services and using it to satisfy the wants, that action in economics is called consumption. And the person who consumes that commodity, he is a consumer. So the use of goods and services to satisfy a want, it is called consumption. The person who is buying the goods and services to satisfy the want, he or she is the consumer. There are millions of consumers all over the world. Daily, every moment the consumption is going on of different types of commodities, varieties of commodities. And nowadays, the consumption or the purchase of goods and services, it is happening online and offline. As you know, the internet has revolutionized shopping. Varieties of products are available online. Advertisement, it is influencing the consumption on a large scale. Because of that, there are many preferences of the consumer. The consumer, how a consumer consumes a commodity to satisfy his or her want, okay, but it is influenced nowadays by advertisement to a large extent. I cannot say that all the consumers are affected by advertisement, but advertisement is affecting. So, a consumer may prefer a particular commodity. Can the consumer purchase all the commodities he or she prefers? No. I may like certain commodity. I may have many preferences of different types of commodities. But I cannot purchase all the commodities. It depends on the price of the commodity and my income. So, taste and preference of the consumer. Tastes and preferences of the consumer. Then income of the consumer. And price of the commodity. These three factors affect the consumption of a commodity. Please keep it in mind. Which are the factors? Consumption is influenced by price of the commodity, income of the consumer, and taste and preference of the consumer. Okay? So, in every shop you can see customers. The customers may not be consumer, may not be a consumer. What do you mean by that? A customer may be a consumer, may not be a consumer. Who is a customer? The person who goes to the shop and purchases a commodity by giving a price. That person may be purchasing the commodity for someone else. Parent purchasing toys, chocolate, ice cream for their children. Parent is a customer. Who is a consumer? The child. So, please understand the term consumer, a person who buys a good or service and uses it. And that action is consumption. Why the consumers are consuming goods? In order to satisfy their wants. So, why the consumer is consuming? To satisfy his wants. Every consumer wants to derive satisfaction. Nobody can compel anyone to purchase a commodity. If a consumer is consuming, it means he prefers that commodity. He likes that commodity. And by using it, it gives a level of satisfaction to that particular consumer. So a consumer derives satisfaction by consuming a commodity. Otherwise, that particular consumer won't consume that commodity. He likes the commodity, he prefers that commodity, so he is buying it by giving a price and consuming it. We can take the example of an apple. A consumer likes apple very much. How many apples at a time he will consume, which gives him maximum satisfaction? And this term satisfaction, it is expressed as utility in economics. So what is utility? The want satisfying power of a commodity. If a commodity can satisfy the want of a consumer, the power of that commodity is called utility, and it is expressed in terms of utils. Utils is the unit of utility. We measure height in centimeters, weight in kilogram, then milk in liters. Likewise, the unit of utility is utils. And economists say that it can be expressed in terms of money. It is measurable. Economists say that it is measurable. It can be expressed in terms of money. For example, when a consumer spent 1 rupee, 1 rupee, a consumer is spending on a particular commodity and he is deriving 20 utils. 20 utils of satisfaction. It is an assumption. See, most of the economic theories are based on assumptions. So, we will discuss it in detail in the next topic. So, for the time we concentrate, utility is measured in utils, and economists say that utility can be measured in money terms. That is, if a consumer is spending 1 rupee, his satisfaction is equal to 20 utils. Imagine. Then he is spending 5 rupees on the commodity. Then what will be his satisfaction? It will be equal to 100 utils. Or we can say that 100 utils is equal to, it is worth 5 rupees. 100 utils is worth 5 rupees. So this is the way utility or utils is related in terms of money. 1 rupee equal to 20 utils. If it is equal to 20 utils, when the consumer spends 5 rupees, he is getting 100 utils, or 100 utils is worth 5 rupees. Now, the question is, how does a consumer maximize his satisfaction? Or we can say, a consumer, he derives satisfaction by consuming a particular commodity. And that consumer is called a rational consumer. Who is a rational consumer? Rational consumer is one who wants to derive maximum satisfaction while consuming a commodity. While consuming a commodity means the consumption is continuous. It doesn't mean that he likes apple, he eats 1 apple today, then the second apple he eats after 2 days, then after 1 week. No, that is not the condition. The consumption of a particular commodity is continuous. So he takes 1 apple, he gets satisfaction. Second apple, a particular level of satisfaction. Third apple, fourth apple, fifth apple. All these consumption levels is deriving satisfaction. But as a human being, as a consumer, we know we cannot consume beyond a point, beyond a unit. You may like chocolate, you may like ice cream, you may like anything. So whatever it is, after a certain unit level, your that preference at that particular point, I mean, maybe after a few days you will again consume that particular commodity, but at a time, that time continuous consumption means one after the other, 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, that way you are consuming 5 apples. So you will stop at a particular level. Which is that point? That point gives maximum satisfaction to the consumer. That is why he is not consuming beyond that. Which is that level? This we study in the term of consumer's equilibrium. This consumer's equilibrium, before we go to that, when does a rational consumer derive maximum satisfaction, or where is consumer's equilibrium achieved maximum satisfaction while consuming a particular commodity? So first of all, we have to see which are the two ways of calculating this consumer's equilibrium. One is cardinal utility measurement. The other theory is ordinal utility. So one is cardinal utility, which is measured in numbers. Cardinal means numbers. It is measurable. That is the meaning. And ordinal utility is considered in rank.